Hello, children. Let's begin the first chapter from your book Hornbill, The Portrait of a Lady. The Portrait of a Lady is part of an autobiography and written by Khushwant Singh. In this story, the author draws a portrait of his grandmother. He beautifully expresses their relationship and how it undergoes several changes. In other hand, the story is a loving tribute from a grandson to his grandmother. This story gives a picture of human relationship. It is a realistic account of how the grandparents give all their time, attention and love to their grandchildren. Let's begin the chapter. My grandmother, like everybody's grandmother, was an old woman. She had been old and wrinkled for the 20 years that I had known her. People said that she had once been young and pretty and had even had a husband, but that was hard to believe. Children, in these lines the author expressed that the author talks about his grandmother. He said that he had known her for the past 20 years and she had always been old and wrinkled, and he was told that she was once young and pretty and had a husband also. Now next line. My grandfather's portrait hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room. He wore a big turban and loose fitting clothes. His long white beard covered the best part of his chest and he looked at least 100 years old. He did not look the sort of person who would have a wife or children. He looked as if he could only have lots and lots of children. As for my grandmother being young and pretty, the thought was almost revolting. Children, here revolting. Revolting means unpleasant. She often told us of the games she used to play as a child that seemed quite absurd and undignified on her part, that was, and we treated it like the fables of the prophets she used to tell. Now absurd means illogical. Now the author Khushwant Singh express about his grandfather. His grandfather's portrait hung on the wall, in which he wore loose fitted clothes, a turban, and had a long white colored beard that reached his chest. He also appeared very old, and the author thought that he was someone who could have many grandchildren, but not a wife or children. Now, the author could never imagine that once his grandmother was young and pretty, he could not connect to this idea. He could not believe. She used to tell him and his cousins about her childhood memories, like the games she used to play as a child. They found these stories illogical and disrespectful because it was beyond their imagination to think that grandmother was once a child and played such games. They thought that her life story were like the other moral stories which she used to tell them. She had always been short and fat. Who the author is talking about her grandmother, and slightly bent. Her face was a crisscross of wrinkles running from everywhere to everywhere. No, we were certain she had always been as we had known her. Old as terribly old that she could not have grown older and had stayed at the same age for 20 years. She could never have been pretty, but she was always beautiful. In these lines, the author says that his grandmother was short, fat, and slightly bent also in posture, and her face had lots of wrinkles. She seemed so old, and she had been the same for the past 20 years. According to the author, she was beautiful but not so pretty. Now, she hobbled about the house in spotless white with one hand resting on her waist to the balance her stoop and the other telling the beads of her rosary. Her silver locks were scattered untidily over her pale, puckered face, and her lips constantly moved in an inaudible prayer. Yes, she was beautiful. She was like the winter landscape in the mountains, an expanse of pure white serenity, breathing peace and contentment. Children, rosary means a string of beads of keeping count of number of chants made of a religious prayers. Now, the author is telling that her mother was beautiful but not so pretty. She walked around the house in an awkward way, wearing spotless white clothes with beads of a rosary hanging from one hand and the other hand rested on her back to support. She had silver colored hair which was not neatly combed and was disorganized. She was constantly chanting prayers. He compares her to the winter landscape in the mountain which has a peaceful and calm feel. She was a live example of a pure white peace. Now, my grandmother and I were good friends. My parents left me with her when they went to live in the city, and we were constantly together. She used to wake me up in the morning and get me ready for school. She said her morning prayers in a monotonous sing song while she bathed and dressed me in a hope that I would listen and get to know it by heart. I listened because I loved her voice but never bothered to learn it. Then she would fetch me wooden slate which she had already washed and plastered with yellow chalk, a tiny earthen ink pot and a red pen, tie them all the bundle and hand it to me. Now the author lived with her in a village. The author lived with her grandmother in a village. They were good friends, author and her mother. His parents left him with her to settle in the city. The author's grandmother used to wake up every morning and get him ready for school. She would recite her morning prayers while she bathed and dressed him up, and he loved her voice. The author loved her voice but would not try to memorize a word of what she spoke. She would make his things ready like a wooden slate, a tiny earthen ink pot, and a red pen. He would eat a thick slate chapatis with butter and sugar. Now, after breakfast of a thick stale chapati with a little butter and sugar spread on it, he went to school. She carried several stale chapatis with her for the village dogs. Stale means no longer fresh or and pleasant to eat. Right? Now, her grandmother walked to school and his grandmother carried some stale chapatis with her to feed the village dogs. My grandmother always went to school with me because the school was attached to the temple. The priest taught us the alphabet and morning prayers. The priest taught us the alphabet and the morning prayers while the children sat in rows on either side of the verandas singing the alphabet or the prayer in a chorus. My grandmother sat inside reading the scriptures. When we had both finished, we would walk back together. This time, the village dogs would meet us at the temple door. They followed us to our home, growling and fighting with each other for the chapatis we threw to them. When my parents were comfortably settled in the city, they sent for us. Now, his grandmother would accompany him to the school as the temple was attached to the school, and she used to visit the temple daily. On one side, she would sit on the veranda with other children, would sing the alphabet and prayers in the chorus. On the other hand, she would sit in the temple to read the scriptures. After finishing, they would walk back home together, both the author Khushwant Singh and grandmother. The village dogs met them at the village door. They would follow them to their home, growling and fighting with each other for the chapatis that she fed them. When his parents got settled in the city, they called them. Now, this was a turning point in our friendship. Although we shared the same room, my grandmother no longer came to school with me. I used to go to an English school in a motor bus. There were no dogs in the street, and she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard in the city. Now, what happened? The village when when his parents got settled in the city, they called them, and that was the turning point of his friendship with his grandmother. This was the turning point. They shared the same room, but she no longer would give him company to his school.